Previously, on the Next Internet Millionaire, the contestants used their e-commerce chips to vote for who they thought would make the best JV partner for Joel. Thor squeaked out the win by 1 chip and was awarded the HackerSafe Community shirt. After learning the secrets of copywriting from Ray Edwards, the contestants hit the streets to collect testimonials for an innovative new product called the Butler Bag. Then it was back to the complex to create their sales letters and present them to the panel of judges, which included Jen Groover, inventor and CEO of Butler Bag. The All-In team came in as the underdogs, outnumbered and lacking copywriting experience. But the judges agreed that Jamie and Charles had crafted a superior sales letter, sending the Knuckle Sandwich team to the judgment room, where Allison was eliminated from the competition. As tensions rise, will Thor and Jason be able to set aside their differences and make it to the top 3? Or will Charles and Jamie continue their winning streak? Find out on this episode of The Next Internet Millionaire.
Yesterday when we had the whole e-commerce chip thing, I had more e-commerce chips than I was letting the other members of the team know. It was a strategy to make them believe I had more or fewer e-commerce chips than I really had.
Thor's always been, ready for strategy. Yesterday he lied to us twice.
Well, Jason sits down and counts up all the chips and says, "Gee, we're too short, and we have 2 chips too many in this thing. How did that happen?" Well, the whole decision came down to a 1-chip decision.
He lied to us and then lied to us again to cover his lie, and until once he found he couldn't lie anymore because he was going to get caught, he confessed.
So he knew someone was lying, so he gets up and he's marching over to the producers saying that they screwed something up, and he was about to make a big ass out of himself. And I just said, I can't let that happen. I'm going to pull it aside, I'm going to sit down and say, "Jason, I'm sorry. I was not truthful with you when you asked me that. I had 4 chips." And so, that blew any credibility I had with him right there.
So, that right there just totally put a thing of distrust in my eyes.
Last night, after Allison got kicked off, she came up to my room about 1 in the morning, and she wanted to talk about what happened in the judgment room. She wanted she basically wanted to ask me, is there anything that I thought she could have done differently?
Last night when I got done talking to Allison, everything was wonderful. Allison was very proud of me and who I am, and was said that she thought that I was the one she would like to win. And so everything was great. And then I get a call from her this morning.
Hi, is that Jason?
Yep.
Oh, hi. Did I wake you up?
No, I'm just ironing my shirt.
Oh, okay. I hope I'm not bothering you. I was just calling because I was thinking about yesterday and our task. And something was just bothering me.
Yeah, go ahead.
My short answer to her was, no, I think you did everything you could do in that room. There's nothing more you could have done. You defended yourself well. You responded to every question with tact. You were polite. You were respectful. You didn't burn any bridges.
And I can't remember any of your stuff being transferred on because I could see that you had a bunch of writing on the paper. And I was just wondering, did that ever get transferred onto our copy?
Well, like the if part?
The what?
The if part, if you've ever experienced, and then correct that.
So then she asked me the follow-up question, well, is there anything I could have done differently during the task? And I said in the boardroom that Jason and I put together about 20% of the content of that sales letter, and Allison did the rest.
I got the impression that he wrote quite a bit of the headline, and you were doing something else on the project.
Now, where do you think he came up with all that?
Well, I
actually gave him that headline.
You gave him that headline.
Questioning me in a way that I sabotaged her, that I didn't do anything for our project yesterday, and that I didn't do anything and on purpose in order to make her look bad. That really struck me, and that really hit me pretty hard because I would never do anything like that.
When I work, I don't work in a way to take credit.
Okay.
And I wasn't going to do that. I wasn't going to sit there and go, well, look at all that I've done. No, actually, it's the way I helped him with that headline.
Yeah.
I helped him with, and I don't know if now you're wondering if I sat back there to sabotage you.
I'm not sure, yeah.
That's not what you're saying.
And I don't want to say that because, you know, I never like to accuse anybody of anything because I like to hear what they have to say first.
So I was wondering, where is she getting all this formulated information from? Where did she get this from? So when I went down, I went and I asked Thor.
I said basically that, you know, you had Jason, he's a strong leader. I thought it was a cop-out that he was coming up to you and saying, gee, what do I do now, coach? What do I do? Once in a while, okay, it's fine. If you get flustered, you get stuck, you don't know how you fit into the team, say it. But don't keep coming back over and over. What do I do now? What do I do now? You're a leader. You're a strong player. Make it happen. Pull it together. Don't count on somebody who's not performing.
I don't understand why, if you were able to find that stuff, why did it just stay on research and it never got transferred onto our page? Like, why is it that...
Because then you gave me another task to do.
No, how can I give you another task when you told me that I never told you to do anything?
Beyond that, I had come up with our lead, which was at least 5-6 sentences long. I came up with our order, which was another 4 or 5 sentences. I came up with our PS, which was another 2 sentences. And I'd come up with each and every one of those. And actually, that was the majority of our content on that page.
You know, bringing me notes on a yellow piece of paper and then saying, well, I'm doing it the way you told me to do it because you told me not to type it on a computer. If you're going to bring me handwritten notes, bring them to me an hour before the end. Don't bring them to me in the last 4 minutes.
You kept asking me, what should I do? What should
I do? See now, Allison, you're overanalyzing it, and now you're trying to fit the...
No.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to understand, that's all.
No, you're not. You're digging for something, Allison. I don't appreciate that. And you know what? Whatever, that's not... No, what you're doing is not right, and I need to get ready, and I don't appreciate what you're doing right now.
I
have something to do today, Allison, and this conversation is not going to go anywhere further, and I really don't appreciate that.
You know what?
So I asked Thor, did you talk to Allison last night? He's like, oh yeah, just real quick, you know, just talked about some different stuff. And I said, like what? Well, you know, just about the task and what she could have done better.
And so Jason comes down and he asks, you know, who talked to Allison last night? I talked to her, she came to my room. What'd you say to her? Well, here's what I said.
And I said, is that it? Well, I really can't remember, you know, what we said. And I said, Thor, here's your chance to have integrity and to be honest. What more did you say?
He thought I was trying to undercut him. He thought I was trying to burn a bridge between him and Allison. He was extremely upset. I've never seen him this upset. He was yelling at me. Just pull back as my father. You're lecturing me. You don't need this. You don't need to have these strategies. You're a strong player. You don't need to have this deceit. Like, there's no deceit here. That's genuinely what I believe.
Today I told him, you're so much better than that, Thor. You don't need to lie, you don't need to deceive, and you don't need to manipulate in order to win this contest.
There's nothing I can do about that, but to sit there and tell me, you know, hey, today's your son's birthday. Go make your son proud. Do things you think would make your son proud. Don't condescend me like that. That's not what I'm here to hear. I mean, if you believe that, that's fine. I can't do anything about your beliefs. I don't care what you believe. I'm here to play. I'm here to win. And I'm not gonna do it in an honorable way, but that doesn't mean I'm not gonna have a strategy and I'm not gonna try.
And I said to him, Thor, all you need to do is be yourself, and you're strong in that and that alone.
This whole show is about strategy, it's about relationships, it's about what I can do for you, how I can fit into the existing prism of what's going on and make something happen. If you're not doing that as a part of the show, what business do you have here at all? That's how I feel.
And I hope he takes that suggestion. Because he is a very strong competitor and doesn't need that lying and the deceitfulness and all that. And honestly, I don't compete that way. And I'm going to be myself, and I'm going to continue to move on with integrity and do what I need to do.
All right, Final Four, you guys are in for a treat this morning as we're going to learn all about blogging and Web 2.0. Our expert is a good friend of mine. I've actually known him for about 8 years now. He was connected to the net in 1980, 27 years online. His blog, AskDaveTaylor.com, is one of the go-to must-read blogs on the web. Please welcome to the next Internet Millionaire stage my good friend, Dave Taylor.
Fundamentally, a blog's a tool, but what makes it really nice, others produce your content. While I'm standing here talking, other people are coming to my site and they are actually adding comments. What does that do? The page that they add a comment on has become fresher and it has gained more content. So what does that mean? The search engines then re-index that page and they say, hey, there's cool new stuff. Great, let's make sure this continues to be really well ranked. And how much did I have to do? Nothing. Nothing. I'm standing here. I'm going and playing on the beach in Hawaii. I'm going hanging out with my family in a museum for a day, and I come back and there are 20 new comments on my site. Other people are doing the work to help me be more findable so that my business gains more visibility, so that I can sell my products or services or just offer up a service.
Dave's presentation was pretty cool. Like, I like listening to people talk about things that I'm really interested in. Less of copy and formulas and all that stuff, and more things that I'm more interested in, I'm doing now, and it's pretty interesting to listen to people talk about it. So, because you could relate better, so it's pretty cool. I like listening to him. He had a lot to say.
There are influencers and there are people that are influenced, and it might be you telling your friends, just saw this movie, it stunk, don't go, it's just totally not worth it. Now they don't go. That's word of mouth marketing. But I will suggest to you that it's really more like a pyramid, because those influencers have influencers, and they have influencers. And so if you can sort of figure out that food chain, and you can figure out those small number of people that are right on top of that pyramid, then what that means is for relatively little effort, once you've identified those people, you can influence a vast number of people. And so another really key concept here in this sort of 2.0 web world is to look at those influencers, try to identify those influencers, and then try to get in good with them. Big, big concept.
Today we learned about blogging and Web 2.0. So that is stuff that I really wasn't familiar with, and now I have a better understanding. So I think it'll help a lot in the future, you know, tying it all together, which is what every single little step, every single day that I'm here, I'm learning more to tie it all together. So it was really good, it was really informative.
What you really need to do to really establish some buzz in this modern internet world is you need to be able to become part of someone else's little universe for at least long enough that you could contribute something of value. Now, instead of saying, well, this is a long-term 6 months to 1 year strategy before you see any benefit, I'm saying you could do this right now, and by the end of today's task, be on the radar screen.
Wouldn't it be great if you could leverage the power of the internet to help people that are in need? That's exactly what you're going to be doing today. You will be conducting a blogathon. You're going to use the techniques that you've learned to help raise money for Hearts and Hands International.
Nita and I started Hearts and Hands about 4 years ago, just out of a need that we sensed for children at risk around the world. When she went over as a teacher, and they found an orphanage that was over there, and that really is kind of what spurred everything on. She spent the next 2 weeks in that orphanage caring for those kids, walked into a room basically full of cribs, 50 babies all lined up, and all wrapped in 3 or 4 layers of clothes because it was cold. And she went in and started holding some of the babies, and anyway, by the end of the time there, after a couple of weeks, those children began to spring to life. And so we began to explore the possibility of being able to do some of this with orphanages in China. And then doors have opened up in India and Africa and Brazil. We built a home in Brazil. We're currently in a construction project in southern India. We have 2 homes in southern India. A lot of the children that are there because they are maybe deformed or have a special need of some sort. We've got a little girl right now that she's badly deformed, has her hands are withered in, or her feet are turned in, and the cleft palate seemed to be a real problem there too. It's something that's easily prevented, but because of the mother's diet, the child will come out with a cleft palate. We're able to do those surgeries. We've done 9 since the first of the year, and able to make a difference in those children's lives. And it's an exciting process to see them then go from being a child that has no hope at all to, because of this simple surgery, then they're able to go and be adopted into an American family or into some other family around the world.
We have already set up a special blogathon page for each team. You will have 8 hours to get as many bloggers to mention this blogathon and link to your team's page. You will receive 10 points for every unique visitor to your page. You will receive 100 points for every blogger that blogs about it. and links to the page. And you will receive 15 points for every delicious bookmark or dig to your page. The winning team will be immune today. The losing team will be joining me in the judgment room where one of you will be eliminated. Since there are only 2 members on each team, I see no need to assign team leaders. Your 8 hours begins now.
8 hours. This is long. Especially if you're on Windows computer. I have no strategy. I'm going to be myself, and that's my strategy, I guess.
I don't really think I have a game plan. I'm not a strategy, how am I going to do this, and how am I going to play this, and how am I going to, work around these people, and I don't try to manipulate. So I think I'm just going to do the same thing that I've always done.
In any competition, whether it's a sporting event, a chess game, anything, there's strategy. And if you don't have a strategy going into a competition, the lack of a strategy is a strategy.
Thor's made himself very vocal. I know his tricks. I know what he tries to do. He strategizes. And
there's no way you can go into a competition and not look around you and size up the competition and try to find a way to win.
I'm focused and ready with what I need to do, and actually I'm ready to serve him if needed. He's not my enemy. My battle's not against Thor Schrock. Actually, I'm here to serve and not to be served, and so I'm going to look for an opportunity to do what I can in that way.
Wait. They're using our stuff. It says Thor Schrock already. Yeah, he may have typed it wrong because my name is not Thor Schrock.
I think for our icons and stuff, we'll get the most play from the Christian community, I think.
Probably.
So I think we stick with a good Christian theme avatar and a Christian theme name.
Okay. Focus.
I think we need to agree on a core sales pitch. Okay, so that we're in line with our efforts.
Do you think we should do like a MySpace or anything like that? A lot of people don't pay attention to those unless they know.
We have orphanages that are taking care of children that are HIV positive and providing water for those kids. There's a little girl that had never seen tap water before, and there was clean, pure tap water. And literally she sat there and drank water until she could hold no more water. She'd never seen water that was that pure and that clean. We began putting together water well teams, and what comes out of these pumps are pure, clean water that has no disease, no problems, and we have about 200 to 250 kids at each well site that are orphaned, and then literally thousands of people that are in the area that now have fresh, clean water.
So what's a good Christian name that you'd want to use?
Like not an actual person's name?
No, like a phrase or a term or something that would inspire confidence, that would add legitimacy.
We also have 280 Rwandan war babies in the Democratic Republic of Congo. And these children literally showed up naked, torn, bruised, starved to death. And we're building an orphanage there. We're providing food, clothing, shelter, and are able to give them an education that they would not have. My goal is to, over the next couple of years, to be able to adopt into good families here in the United States, all 280 of these babies.
We do have time. We could make some of these social networking sites. We could potentially hit our friends from a fake account.
I was thinking that I was going to make a couple sites as well.
There's a verse that says, God enjoys a cheerful giver. So we can be cheerful giver.
Come join our show. Be a commie.
Yeah.
What? I think I'm going to stay home.
Suggest to you that what in fact you want to do instead is you want to think about or do some digging and figure out what are the big projects that nonprofits are doing in the Christian space. Okay?
So here's the deal. We're going to pull the 4 finalists in here one at a time. They're working on their task, their 8-hour Blogathon task. And really we're interrupting in the middle of what they're doing, and they have no idea that we're about to do this. And we're going to bring them in here because it's really the first time I've had an opportunity to speak to them one-on-one. So they've had absolutely no preparation at all. And we're going to see what kind of answers they give when they're put on the spot.
And then put, speak up.
Joel would like to speak with you. Joel wants to speak with you. All right. Joel would like to talk to you.
Sorry to pull you off your task.
That's okay.
But we're in the final four now.
Yes, we are.
And this is really the first opportunity we've had to just one-on-one talk apart from any of the other contestants. What I need to know is what's going on in your head in terms of ideas or concepts for what we might do as a joint venture.
Well, I bring to the table, I guess, exactly what you're looking for in a person. A lot of the ideas and things that we've gone with the logo and presentations and with our banner bar was stemming from a lot of my ideas.
But let's face it, what you're doing in your videos is you're not really teaching, you're just having a good time.
Right, I'm entertaining.
Well, one of my interests is health. I've been interested in that since I got very, very sick about 10 years ago.
I even use the word educational very loosely with you because there's a sort of a counterculture thing to learning.
All of a sudden I started losing weight, and I mean, I'm normally this size, so you can imagine, you know, losing 20 pounds off of my frame was huge, and I kept getting rushed to the hospital and emergency room every night. My parents kept taking me.
It seems like the internet marketing market is so saturated with products, and you really have to find a really tight niche and stick a product in the hole. Well, the one thing that I haven't heard anything about is an information product on how you go about building these relationships.
Honestly, I didn't think you would make it this far.
I honestly didn't think I would make it this far either.
And the doctors did test after test after test and couldn't figure anything out. I mean, from tuberculosis to heart disease, I wore heart monitors. I mean, they were exploring every avenue, but I kept losing weight.
Is there a way that we can open that door for people so it can change their lives too? I think that's something that would sell. I think that people would go after that.
I would want to help break that mold. I would want to kind of make it more, just opening it up. Like instead of a circle, it's more open. The mass media, mass market can be involved.
One area that I do want to move into, we already have the URL, it's redeemthelost.com for tools and resources for evangelism.
So basically I went on a long cleanse, cleaned out my body, and
got it under control.
Got it under control and gained back the weight and was able to function. So since then, I've done a lot of reading, a lot of learning about so many topics of alternative health.
Throw something else at me. Let's say we went down a different road.
How to go after somebody and say, you know, not what can you give me, but here's what I can do for you. And there's an art to that. When I started this show, I did not even know what the definition of a joint venture was. And I was pretty web savvy. I mean, I build websites for a living. I do a lot of SEO and internet marketing work on my own.
So you're like Dr. Jamie.
Sort of, without any qualifications.
Right. Well, I wouldn't say you have no qualifications, no formal training.
No formal training.
You're doing this already. You can make a living out of this. You're good at it, and that's what I would try to convey to people.
Now, is this the full scope of what you would see doing with me?
I have written 5 feature-length screenplays and 1 novel. Right now I have an agent for my screenplays.
I did create a 5-day e-course called Back to Basics Crash Course. I have also created an ebook bundle called the Back to Basics ebook bundle.
Yeah. Charles, we are going to write an ebook about cooking.
Well, I do like cooking.
Yeah, but I don't think that would be what your passion is.
Yeah.
And we're going to do a book. There's not going to be any video involved.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to describe.
Try.
I do want to be here.
And I believe that.
Yeah.
I think that this has probably been a life-changing experience for you, and you're going to take a lot more out of this than you probably ever expected to.
I would have to agree with that.
You came up with a great book title and don't even know that you came up with it. The title of the book is, What Can I Do For You?
God's my boss.
So it's kind of a Fight Club for women.
In a way, yeah.
Yeah.
Behind a great man is a great woman. And she's my great woman that has empowered me through encouragement and through everything just to be who I am.
Being married 18 years, I can totally concur that couldn't do it without my wife.
I'll tell you now, those sales pages, those sales letters, those copies, they don't work for younger kids. They don't work. Like, you see it, you're done, you're off the page.
You realize that a JV with me would be extremely time consuming. I need to know that the person that I partner with is going to be able to make a significant commitment. Are you prepared to do that?
Yes.
If I was doing something that I truly believed in and I truly loved and, I would put 100% of my efforts into it.
So what do you think it would be like working with me and my team?
I think I would lighten things up. I would think it would make it fun.
You don't think we have fun?
The opportunity to have you help me through that process, I bet there are thousands of people watching right now that would kill for that opportunity.
If you won the next Internet Millionaire, what would you do with the $25,000 prize?
I'd invest it.
The $25,000 prize has pretty much been spoken for already. I approached 3 charities in my local community. I want to set some of this money aside for adoption. I adopted my son. It's an emotionally taxing, difficult thing.
If I needed to quit my job right away, I would need the $25,000, or at least most of it, to support myself.
Neil Schultz suffered from ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease. And about 2 weeks before I made the top 50, he died. But that's where the rest of the money is going to go, is to that foundation, even though he's not with us anymore.
Is this the real Jamie I see now, or are you acting?
No, I don't act without lines. So.
If you ended up leaving tonight, has this been a life-changing experience?
I think it has been, and it will continue to be a life-changing experience.
You've got some really strong competition. You're the last one I've spoken to today, and everybody is tough.
Yeah, they're cutthroat. They want this.
Good luck with today's task.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time. We'll see you later.
So part of this challenge is to figure out the best places. This is not a quantity game. This is a quality game in the blogging world.
WordPress is pretty popular.
What about LiveJournal?
I certainly would right up front say time is of the essence.
When we write it, I think we gotta make it really like informal, but still kind of seem legit. So it's like we're just like
Kind of saying,
hey to a friend kind of thing.
Yeah.
That way they're more inclined to read it.
As opposed to like a pitch.
A sales
pitch.
pitch.
A sassy pitch. Yeah.
Exactly.
First, we talked to Jason Marshall. I think he's just a fantastic human being. He's got a huge heart. He's totally others-centered and a servant. And, you know, he's the kind of guy you want to have in your court and as a friend. Jamie surprised me. Pleasantly surprised me. My fear with Charles has been, okay, so I do these goofy videos, how are we going to get more people to see them? I was actually glad to hear that he's already thinking of what he would be doing with all this. I didn't learn anything new about Thor that I hadn't seen already. He's very professional when he speaks. I could see him being the type of person that he could stand in my stead and give my presentation. That's pretty significant. It's hard to come by people like that. Well, I want to tell you what, it is storming outside like crazy here in northern Colorado, and there's going to be a storm here tonight because somebody's going home. Since we're not judging you on presentations, purely on the number of visitors, bloggers, and digs and delicious bookmarks, go ahead and tell us about your strategy.
The first thing I did is I started off by hitting some blogs that I knew. I know a lot of bloggers that have really kind hearts, and they would respond well to a charity message, and they're established bloggers, so they may not necessarily be an authority in the field, but I felt that if I knew them well enough that I could craft a message, even without them knowing who I am, that would resonate. We had some difficulty at first identifying, you do a search for like a charity blog or something and you get all the charity scam blogs and you really don't want to post there. We turned around and we asked for some advice, some guidance, and we got a little more structure. We hit some specific blogs that are trying to talk about helping Africa. We weren't getting very far with that though, because we realized that it was going to take too long. There wasn't enough time. So we switched our strategy, decided to go into the social networking realm. We installed the MySpace Instant Messenger. I entered the chat rooms as a 30-year-old female with a pretty decent looking picture. Not too hot. Just
what was your name?
My name was Sarah Johnson. I had about 7 Instant Messenger windows going at any given point in time and say, hey, what do you think of the layout of the link? Because that means they have to go look at it. And then, you know, hey, it's Sarah Johnson, they're going to look at the link. So they look at the link and they say, hey, I love the link, you know, so what are you doing later tonight? It wasn't high quality traffic. And
So you almost got a date.
I got a number of offers. There'll be some disappointed guys tonight when they're waiting for Sarah Johnson to call them back.
You spent a lot of time actively lying to people in the IM space. There's a real ethical issue there. The fact that you made light of the fact that there are these guys waiting for this fictitious woman to contact them back. It's almost like you were just pimping yourself to get a link or something.
I was a little shocked when the other team mentioned that they went on the chat room, because I thought, you know, representing a charity, that going into the chat room and chatting it up, being a, you know, a sexy girl, isn't really the image that the charity wanted to portray. So I was really glad that the judges did call them on that.
In one respect, you're absolutely right. I mean, it's not something that I would have normally done.
First, I was going to all the different blogs. I created 5 blog posts talking about the drinking water, and then I also did something about the children and orphanages, and then I went around to different people who had the same content in their blogs. I invited them to view our blog. I was making contact with them, inviting them as a friend, and then sending them to him to make contact further with in the chat.
You guys went to a segment of the market that really had no idea what they were doing and probably didn't even really know what blogging was about. Charles and Jamie, tell us a little bit about what you guys did.
Well, we've decided to hit up the blog market versus going to social network sites, because at social network sites you have to have some sort of credibility before you start posting things, otherwise you're automatically going to be a spammer and no one's going to pay attention. So we hit up a main site, LiveJournal, because they have communities. So if you're part of a community, like hundreds of people, thousands of people are part of this community, you look on your friends page, the post will come up. So we were able to broadcast our message to hundreds of groups, and then we were able to get hundreds of more people without actually having any friends or ties. Then we did Facebook for the college market.
We had a lot of groups in Facebook.
We went to WordPress, we did Blogger.
We searched through forums, Africa,
charity,
children, churches.
Orphanage things.
I like the way that you guys did a lot of different things. You were really all over the map. Facebook, good use of LiveJournal to drive traffic, Blogger, WordPress, Technorati, Yahoo groups, Google groups. I'm not sure how much traffic you got from the rest of them, but I know that LiveJournal really, you got buzz going and you drove traffic. Regardless of strategies, what it comes down to here is the points. Charles and Jamie, according to your claims, you had 97 visits. At 10 points a visitor is 970 points. You had 1 blog entry, and that is worth 100 points. And you had 1 dig, which is worth 15 points, for a total of 1,085 points. Thor and Jason, according to your claims, you had 37 visits, which we did confirm, 370 points. You did have 1 dig, which is good for 15 points. I'm kind of surprised that there weren't any more digs on yours, but it is what it is. And you claim to have 7 blogs, which would be good for 700 points, for a total of 1,085 points. So it would seem like we have a tie. However, we checked all the links on all the blogs to make sure that they met the criteria. Thor and Jason, we found not 1, not 2, but 3 issues with the links on the MySpace blogs. There was a blog that was set to private. Another of the MySpace blogs had a Hearts and Hands banner, and there was no link. It was just the banner. And the third one was that somebody went to the Blogathon page, copied the text, and pasted it in the margin on their blog. There was no link. We got to subtract 300 points, giving you a total of 785, and our clear winner of this challenge is All In. Congratulations. Your reward tonight is immunity. That means the 2 of you are guaranteed to be in the final 3. Knuckle Sandwich, I wish I had good news for you. I don't. We're going to see you in the judgment room shortly, where one of you will be eliminated.
I'm feeling pretty good right now, and it felt great to win that challenge. With only me and Charles left on that team, 50-50 in the judgment room is not somewhere that I want to be. So I'm feeling very good and very excited because now I'm in the top 3.
Thor, Jason, you guys made it this far. You're both players. You guys really choked on this task. You focused so heavily on MySpace in the chat rooms, the instant messaging, and you depended upon people who just are not fluent in how the web works. No offense to our friends out there who might have a really nice MySpace site. The majority of them are not visually appealing and really provide no significant reason to visit there. The other team, boy, Facebook, LiveJournal, Google groups, Yahoo groups, Blogger, WordPress, Technorati, they were all over the map, and they were all about the traffic. I think maybe you focused a little heavily on getting somebody to blog about you, that you got desperate. There was no team leader. This was a collaborative effort. Whose idea was it, though, to really focus on MySpace?
I think as a pair said, let's go there. I've never done a blog, and I'm actually never really been on the social network before, so for me that was a first to jump into that area.
Yeah, and that's what confuses me, is that you know blogs. Are you a WordPress blog?
Yeah, my
blogger?
blog is a WordPress blog. It's a Technorati Top 2000 blog.
Okay, so you have a WordPress blog, and yet when it came time to do this task, even after you saw the other team was doing something on WordPress, you said it wasn't worth the effort, and you stayed in MySpace. I find that to be an extraordinary judgment on your part.
Now, initially, we did start off by going to different blogs, trying to find authority areas in the field. We did post comments on the blogs. In fact, one of the bloggers actually responded to one of our comments already, and we tried to follow up on that because I know how this guy operates.
And I do credit you for that. You did leverage your existing knowledge to some degree, and you did it as ethical as you could, given that you had to use a pseudonym. What was the name again?
Sarah Johnson.
Why did you choose a female name?
We felt that females are a little more trustworthy and approachable. Men come off more as the predator, and people fear them a little bit more, but a woman's more soft-spoken.
Our original plan was not to go to a MySpace environment. In fact, we said, you know, you have strong knowledge of the Christian community.
But you didn't leverage that.
I went there, I went to those sites, I've made posts and everything like that, but it's just in the time of the 8 hours, I made posts on like 4 different places on different, you know, missionary and evangelism sites, but you know, I mean, what we got from that, I don't know.
We were up against a time crunch. Given a
So
week.
were they.
Yeah.
I understand.
Oh, absolutely.
We chose a different tactic, and that's why we're sitting here.
Right. Bottom line is both of you dropped the ball on this one, and frankly, now we're faced with a situation that goes beyond this task. I want to know from each one of you, Thor, why should you be the one to be my JV partner?
I believe that I can take a wide variety of interests or things. In fact, one of the things you might have noticed when I first walked in here, and you asked me that very first time we sat down and had dinner, you said, well, shoot me your JV ideas. And you and Marlon, I shot my 2 silver bullets and they just fell. So I learned a lot from that experience, and those ideas were all based on my previous experiences. Now the ideas that I told you in there today, when I was talking to you about how leveraging relationships and how you can change your entire life by giving instead of looking for what you can get. That information was something I learned here. So I can take any given experience or paradigm that I'm in and see opportunity in it. I think that's what would make me a better JV partner. No matter what you throw me in, I'll be able to go in there and find an opportunity somewhere.
Tell me why Jason would not be the right JV partner for him.
This is hard, but
I just want you to be honest.
To be honest?
You guys are going to be friends after all this is said and done, I hope.
I do too. I do, Jason. We don't talk terribly much, but we talk enough and we hear each other. I just haven't heard anything new. And I wonder if thrown into a new situation, he would be able to simply adapt and adjust it.
So I'm a little baffled by this, because you're telling us that, if I can summarize, you have this sense that you can look at a lot of different ways of doing something. But that was not demonstrated today. Can you explain that incongruity? Because what I saw today was you were the most mono-focused of the 4 contestants.
Well, one of the things, we did develop a strategy in the beginning. Before we even walked back there, we had a strategy. And after an hour and a half, 2 hours, it became very apparent that that strategy was not going to keep us out of this room. We had to adjust. We had to change. So we changed, we tried something different, and we got, point-wise, we got results. So we said, if we keep doing this and we keep doing what we're doing, we can accumulate enough points to win this challenge. Now, obviously, that didn't happen. But I think we sure as heck accumulated more points than we would have if we would have stayed on the trail we were on. Now, if we stayed on that trail and a week later came back and looked at the statistics and the traffic, I think the website would be doing much better. But we found something we thought was working, and when you find something that works and you make a decision to do it that way, you execute. And that's what we did.
Essentially, I don't know that you had the larger task in mind, but you had winning in mind.
Yes.
Jason, why should you be the JV partner?
You're looking for somebody with creativity, and I've shown creativity consistently throughout. I've shown a drive and motivation and a desire to succeed. I've also, with ideas, my problem is I have so many ideas, and you're not looking for an idea. And I don't want to sit there and lay out all these ideas and you go, you know what, ideas don't mean anything to me. It's about execution and being able to do that. So I have been trying to execute what I have. If you want to tap my mind, talk to Charles. You and I don't have any talk. I don't know any of your ideas either. And Charles and I have tons of ideas, and we're actually working on quite a few things.
Is Charles a more likely JV partner than you are?
He's very talented, and I'd be a fool to say he wasn't. He's very talented, which is why I'm looking forward to doing some stuff with him.
So, tell me about Thor.
With Thor, he is very talented in the sense of the technicalities. The only other thing I see about Thor, I gave him a second chance today, is just is the ethicalness.
I caught wind this morning. I didn't see anything myself because I've been busy all day, but I heard there was a little bit of a tiff this morning. What?
Yeah, well,
somebody tell me what happened.
Just like today, I think Thor loses the focus of the broad picture and gets so focused on winning and the game that he forgets that it's more than just that. And in that, he'll do what it takes to win. And he lied to us.
How so?
He told us he only had two chips when we were in the room in order to go in there. And why he would even lie about that, I don't know. But in order to kind of mask his amount that he had 4. And so when we were done, we counted. And I said, wait a minute, there's 2 extra chips. Did the judges put 2 in? And where? So I said, how many did everybody have? And
we would
said,
not do that.
Yeah, right. And I said, well, that's what I said. So how many did everybody have? And he said, I had 2. And I said, you had 2? And everybody said they had their rating amounts. I said, well, we're still missing 2. And then eventually when he learned that he couldn't keep lying, he was going to get caught, he said, I have 4. And I lied.
So why'd you lie about that?
What I was doing, it was a strategy. I wanted people to believe I had fewer chips than I did because I did not know what the e-commerce chips were for. So that was what, and then in the beginning, the day before, when we came out of that challenge, I had 2 chips in my hand, and so it would have been incongruent for me to go in there with more than 2 chips. And he did ask me, and I did tell him I had 2 chips, and basically, it got to the point where he was going to go up and say something, and I said, you know, this doesn't need to happen. At that point, there was not just myself, but other people could be harmed by this. You know, strategy be damned, it was time to say something. The tiff this morning wasn't about that, though. Last night, Alison was eliminated. The very first night we were here, she and I stayed up together probably till 2 or 3 in the morning just talking about life and why we wanted to win, and she shared some real personal stuff with me that really, we connected on the first night when we were here. So when she was eliminated, she knocked on my door yesterday about 1 in the morning and said, you know, Thor, can I ask you a few questions about what happened in there last night? And I said, well, sure, let's sit down and talk. So we talked till about 2 or so, and she asked me, is there anything I could have done in here different that would have changed the outcome? And I said, you know, honestly, I don't think there was. You know, you were the team leader. It was the strategy that was flawed that got us. I think that was what killed it. On the other hand, one of the things that I did tell her also is I was frustrated with Jason because Jason's a strong leader. And when Alison was struggling, I learned on the first night, you can't just step in there and knock the leader out of the way and say, I'm taking over because you're not leading. That's not how the game works. You step up and you try to find out what that leader needs, and then you try to deliver what's needed. She asked me, what do you think, why didn't Jason do anything more? Jason and I delivered probably 20% of the original content on that website, and Alison did the rest.
You're shaking your head.
Yes, because then in this morning I said to him, so I only did 10% and Alison did 80%, and then I went back over with him. I said, let's look at what Alison actually brought to us. She brought those testimonials. All she brought really were the words there. Then she brought the bonus, which didn't even come from her. So all she did was format it, and it was this big, and it was just those few sentences of the bonus, and that was it.
Well,
that's all she contributed.
One of the reasons
it was good.
Left.
Right. But, and I said, well, let's look at what I brought. You guys say I did nothing, and he's telling and feeding Alison that I did nothing. And then I said, Thor, what did I do? I did the whole entire order. I did the whole entire lead. And the order was about 5 sentences long. The lead was about 6 sentences long. And the PS was another 2 sentences long. Plus, I'm the one that gave you the guys the proper questions. Everything they were saying about the way we were asking questions, what we were doing, came from me.
I disagree strongly with that.
Which part?
Specifically,
you agreed this morning.
No, I'm talking about the thing you slipped in at the end there, the questions. We were both asking very good questions. We were both asking about feelings. We were both
Where did you originally get them from? Because in the van, I said to her, make sure you ask about objections. She said, oh, okay, that's a great idea. And she wrote that down.
Can I ask you where I was sitting in the van when you asked her that?
I was on your right, and
okay.
She was on your left, and
right.
We leaned forward, and she leaned in.
And you were behind me. I can't hear out of my left ear. When you guys are talking in whispers in the back of the van, I can't hear. I wasn't trying to steal it. I mean, to go out in the field and say, well, it was my idea, and you shouldn't have asked a question about, you know, how do you feel about something because it was your idea. I mean, that's not what this is about. Well, that's not what this is about. And I don't want to rehash the whole challenge from yesterday, but what I do want to say is I was incorrect when I did tell Alison that you did create, the only thing I forgot was the bullet points. So I was not feeding Alison and trying to destroy any bridges between the two.
Well, it did. It burned a bridge between us.
I understand that you've got a very black and white way of looking at the world. I mean, I really understand it. This is a game. In regard to the chips.
Is it though? To me it's not a game. This is about my life and my future in a JV and the opportunity that it would bring me and change my life possibly. That's not a game. And if you're playing a game with me, then I don't appreciate that.
This is a game. Not to toy with people, but it is a competition.
Right, and that's okay.
No, the competition is a game. And you're playing to win, but it is a game. I'm just gonna ask you point blank. Do you lie habitually?
I don't lie habitually. In fact, I felt like absolute garbage after that. When I got called out, I didn't feel I could sit with those people over there.
I'm gonna make your decision easier for you. Send me home. I don't think we're proper partners for one another.
Why do you say that?
Because I don't think we're on the same page. I just don't. My heart and your heart just aren't lining up in the sense of business versus life. And I don't compartmentalize my business outside of my life. My business is my life. And I just don't think that's where you and I together as a joint venture. So I want to save you time. So send me home. Thor would be a better business partner for you between the two of us.
Jason, I hate that you'd throw away an opportunity just like that. But we're going to go with that. Jason, you've been eliminated.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
It's been a pleasure getting to know you.
Yes, absolutely.
And I'm sure that you're going to do great in all your endeavors. I'm confident of that.
Thank you.
Okay. Thor, you're one of the final 3. Congratulations. You must now exit the complex.
Absolutely. Go ahead. I'm a positive guy. So for me, I try to make everything positive and find the best in things.
What happened in there tonight is not what I expected at all. Not in the least. That was a man who knows himself well.
I just can't play that game. That's not who I am. And to do that would cause me to be somebody I'm not. And my goal is to be who, like Joel said, that be yourself. And this is who I am. I come to do what I'm asked to do, and without the hype and fluff.
He's got a good heart. He's a kind-hearted man. He has genuine beliefs. He lives those beliefs in everything he does, in everything without exception.
I'm done. I came here for what I feel I came to accomplish, and I accomplished it. And it's time for me to go.
There's no reason a person like that isn't going to be successful in life. There are a lot of people in this world that have black and white morals that are extremely successful, that live Christ in everything they do every single day. And Jason is one of the few men, I think, on this earth that can say he actually does that. He lives his life that way.
2/3 of the world's children will go to bed hungry tonight. They don't have enough food to feed them. Half of the world's population are under the age of 14. And of those, the majority of those are going to go to bed hungry tonight, without food, without clothing, without shelter. My encouragement to people today would be to get off the couch, get involved, go and do something. Whether that's help Hearts and Hands, or whether that's go work with another organization, sponsor a child through World Vision, help Larry Jones with Feed the Children. Go and do something, make a difference in the life of someone. The best way to make a difference and an impact is to literally roll up your sleeves and go and do. Second thing is if you can't go, send others to go. Another way is maybe sponsor a well, or sponsor a child for $17 a month. You can make a difference in the life of a child by providing food, clothing, shelter, a place to get an education, and really make an impact on their life. But it starts today. You know, a lot of times what we'll do is, well, I'll put that off till tomorrow. No, it's not going to happen. We're not guaranteed tomorrow. The only promise we have is for today, and so we can make a difference in the lives of those kids today. Somebody reminded us of the story of the little boy going along the beach. The storm had blown in all of these starfish along the beach. And the little boy was down there, and he's picking up starfish, and he was throwing them back into the ocean. He was picking up another starfish, throwing it back in the ocean. This old man comes up to him and says, "Son, don't you know that there's millions of starfish out here? It's not making a difference here." And the little boy looked up at the man, looked down, picked up a starfish, and threw that starfish back into the ocean. He says, "It made a difference to that one."
Who thought they would make it this far?
I think it's going to depend what the challenge is, who falters, stress is getting to people, being tired is getting to people.
Human nature hasn't changed in 4,000 years, has it?
I don't think so.
I want to sleep.
This is not going to be very good. Hi, how are you?
I do stuff on my own.
They rock.
Dirty, dirty. This not playing as good.
The growth of the internet has led to more opportunities for prosperity than ever before. The myth of making money online from home in your pajamas is no longer a myth. The internet has made it a reality. Now, I invite you to become a part of this group of entrepreneurs by becoming a Next Internet Millionaire Insider. As a member, you'll receive your own internet business on CD-ROM shipped directly to your door. This CD is packed with video tutorials, instructional ebooks, website templates, and 64 products that you can begin selling online immediately. It has all the tools and resources you need to get your internet business up and running quickly. And as an insider, you'll have the ability to ask questions, participate in exclusive teleseminars, and receive access to a special members-only website. To learn more, go to www.nextinternetmillionaire.com and enter your name and email address in the form on the page. Thanks for watching The Next Internet Millionaire. I look forward to seeing you as an insider.
I would just drop right down and do the splits without stretching.
And grabbing the cookies, running up and shoving them right into the VCR, crumbling them all up, and then pulling the VCR down, and then running into my bed.
I can make angel wings or wings come out of my back. It's gross, but it's kind of funny.
Oh, wow. Look at that. You guys getting that?
Hi guys. I'm here to be the next internet millionaire. I think I have what it takes, but I do my best work on the internet when no one sees me.
And now, the William Tell Overture. All right.
Funny at all?
In a really peculiar way, yeah.